Intelligence is said to be multifaceted and functional. But what does that mean? And how does that relate to intelligence? Intelligence has been defined in many different ways over the years, including one's capacity for logic, abstract thought, understanding, self-awareness, communication, learning, emotional knowledge, memory, planning, creativity, and problem solving. It is said that a combination of all these abilities come together to make the basis of what is known as one's intelligence.
Binet's scale. The most direct ancestor of today's intelligence tests was developed in 1905 in France by Alfred Binet. Binet believed that a true measure of intelligence was an individual's performance on complex tasks of memory, judgment, and comprehension. Binet was also less interested in measuring intellectual function in adults than in measuring intellectual potential in children. To express a child's level of intellectual development, Binet and Simon introduced the concept of mental age. Mental age is the average age at which children achieve a particular score. A child with a chronological age of 5 who can answer questions at a 7-year-old level has a mental age of 7. A 5-year-old who can answer the questions expected for his own age but not for higher ages has a mental age of 5. Thus, for an average child, mental age and chronological age coincide. Revision of Binet's scale and introduction of IQ. Binet's intelligence test was translated and extensively revised by Lewis Terman of Stanford University, whose revision was known as the Stanford-Binet scale. Perhaps the most important modification was the intelligence quotient, or IQ, a score meant to quantify intellectual functioning to allow comparison among individuals. To arrive at an IQ score, Terman relied on a formula for expressing the relation between an individual's mental age and chronological age, developed a few years earlier in Germany. The formula derives a child's IQ by dividing mental age by chronological age and multiplying by 100.
Theory of multiple intelligence. The theory of multiple intelligence was theorized by Howard Gardner. He was an American developmental psychologist who came up with 9 qualities or abilities that he believed made up the value of intelligence. These were naturalist intelligence, one's ability to be sensitive to other features of the natural world. Number 2, musical intelligence, one's ability to discern pitch, rhythm, timbre, and tone. Third one, logical mathematical intelligence, one's ability to carry out and complete mathematical operations. The fourth, existential intelligence, one's sensitivity and capacity to tackle deep questions about human existence. The fifth one, interpersonal intelligence, one's ability to understand and effectively cooperate with others. The sixth, bodily kinesthetic intelligence, one's ability to manipulate objects while using a variety of physical skills. The seventh, linguistic intelligence, one's ability to think in words and use language to express and appreciate complex meanings. The eighth, self-smart intelligence, one's capacity to understand oneself and one's thoughts and feelings and to use such knowledge in planning one's life. And the ninth, spatial intelligence. Spatial intelligence is the ability to think in 3 dimensions. These include mental imagery, spatial reasoning, image manipulation, graphic and artistic designs. Spearman's two-factor theory. In 1904, the English psychologist Charles Spearman proposed his theory of intelligence, called the two-factor theory. According to him, intellectual abilities are comprised of 2 factors: the general ability, or general intelligence, known as the G factor, and specific abilities, known as S factors. The performance of an individual is determined by the G factor and the S factors, and the total intelligence of that individual is the sum total of the G factor and the S factors. The performance of a particular task depends on the G factor and the particular S factor or specific ability in question. Essentially, a G factor is an innate, inborn ability. The amount of G factor differs from individual to individual. It is used in every activity of life, and the greater the G factor, the greater the success in that particular task. S factors, on the other hand, are skills that are gained through experience, so the more that we do a particular task, the better we get at it.
The extremes of intelligence. Mental retardation versus giftedness. This is the distribution graph of average IQ scores. Mental retardation. On the extreme left-hand side of the normal distribution of intelligence is mental retardation. Mental retardation refers to significantly below average general intellectual functioning, an IQ less than 70, with deficits in adaptive functioning that are first evident in childhood and appear in more than one realm, such as communicating with others, living autonomously, interacting socially, functioning in school or work, and maintaining safety and health. Roughly 2% of the population is mentally retarded. By far the largest number of people classified as retarded, about 75 and 90%, fall in the mild to moderate range, an IQ between 50 and 70. Only about 10% of retarded individuals are classified as severely to profoundly retarded, an IQ below 50. Many are diagnosed early because of obvious neurological or medical symptoms. Wide-set eyes, flattened facial features, and stunted body shape characterize individuals with Down syndrome, a genetic disorder most frequently caused by an extra chromosome 21. Giftedness. On the other end of the bell-shaped distribution of intelligence are people classified as gifted or exceptionally talented. Like definitions of intelligence, definitions of giftedness depend on whatever skills or talents a society labels as gifts. In the West, with its emphasis on academic aptitude as measured by psychometric tests, giftedness is often equated with an IQ exceeding 130, although common definition often extends to other forms of talent such as social, musical, or athletic ability. A common notion, at least since the days of the Roman Empire, is that extreme intelligence is associated with maladjustment. Data suggests that gifted people tend to have average or above average adjustment, slightly better chances of marital success, and far greater likelihood of achieving vocational success than the general population. On the other hand, research following up the termites in the 80s find that being labeled gifted early in life may have later costs. Those who had learned early that they had been labeled intellectually gifted were more likely to feel like they had failed to live up to expectations by their 40s and report less psychologically well by their 80s.
It is widely accepted that intelligence is the ability to acquire and apply knowledge to everyday skills and tasks, to think laterally, abstractly, and independently. Our take, however, is that intelligence is multifaceted and encompasses many aspects of life. To be self-aware, the ability to communicate, one's emotional knowledge, memory, planning, creativity, and problem solving. These are just some of the skills that intelligence allows us to function in our daily lives. Intelligence can be measured by the partaking of IQ tests. However, it is noted that the validity of many of these tests are not to be taken as true indicators of one's intelligence.